Buy or sell? You ready to rock and roll?
I am. We can finish with some buy or sell.
All right, let's have some fun. Myles Garrett had the best defensive season of all time. Buy or sell?
I'm selling this. As much as Myles Garrett had a great year this year, he had peaks and valleys in a way that I think kept me from saying this is the best defensive season of all time. I think back to Aaron Donald's year in 2018, the 2 years in the mid 2000s, 2012 and 2014 with JJ Watt, Darrell Revis in 2009, Ed Reed in 2002. There's a lot of great all-time defensive performances, and it's very hard. I know everybody likes to have a recency bias and say, well, this is the best. But there's been a lot of great performances in the history of the NFL. This was a good one. There were moments and games where he went away, and it ended the year kind of where we were questioning whether or not he was actually going to get the sack record, quite frankly. So I think, yes, big accomplishment. Myles was excellent, but especially even when I think of recently, that 2018 Aaron Donald year, there's quite a few examples that I think surpass it, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, and when you're going statistically, right, I think TJ Watt is sitting right up there, by half a sack, that he beat him.
Yep.
Then also people are going to factor in also that playing the extra game, right? Playing the 17
Correct.
versus the 16 game regular schedule season. So I think really good. I think a great season, right? Obviously, the get the hell out of Cleveland. That's
Yeah,
what it comes down to, right? Get the hell out of Cleveland so you could be in
I
more
know.
primetime matchups, and your impact actually has an impact to the overall landscape of football. Let's do this. Buy or sell. Philip Rivers will be an NFL head coach in 2026.
I'm selling this because I don't think it's going to happen this cycle, but I do believe he's going to be a head coach in the NFL in the near future. If I was betting in the next 5 years, my answer would be yes. To turn it around this quickly, when you're talking about the hiring and firings that are going to go on and the jobs that are going to come open, I just don't see him taking that step forward. But it's very clear. You saw him with Riley Leonard in this last game and the amount of coaching that he was doing on the sidelines. He very clearly has a passion for the game. He wants to be around it. I very much see him being a head coach. I just don't see it happening this upcoming season.
Yeah, I'm going to sell it also real quick, just because Philip Rivers retired, right? And he came
Yeah.
back for a stretch. But when most guys retire, it's not due to a lack of the love of the game or wanting to be around. It's that the schedule is too damn demanding, right? He was
Yeah.
coaching high school football, in his hometown where he lived there, was able to coach the guys and still had some work-life balance. He has a lot of kids. This is a man with a lot of kids, right? So I don't think he's going to be the head coach anytime soon for an NFL team. But high school, I definitely seen him getting back into the mix. Being a coach in the NFL in college football is the ultimate time demand that there is as far as professions in America, to be
That
honest.
might be the reason he wants to be away from them. Yeah. Just saying.
It's possible. It's possible. Let's do this. Fernando Mendoza is a Raider guaranteed by herself.
I'm buying this. I think the performance that Mendoza had against Alabama, especially when you consider his numbers against the blitz, were insane. He had 3 touchdowns and 181 yards against Alabama. He was unbelievable in that performance. I think the Raiders have locked in on this is going to be their guy for the future. I do believe there will be a conversation, right, as who is QB1. Dante Moore, obviously they're going to play this upcoming Friday in a playoff game, but I think the Raiders, at least as far as I know, that's the guy that they want. It fits. They need kind of a culture change. And I know that he doesn't fit like what people think of the Raiders, but I think that might be a good thing. I
Mm.
think that might be a good thing for them. So yes, I do believe Fernando Mendoza is going to be the number 1 overall pick to the Las Vegas Raiders.
I agree with that 100%. I'm buying that. Buy or sell, Matt LaFleur is overrated.
I'm selling this. I understand why Packers fans are upset because of the things that Malik Willis came in. They were able to run certain parts of the offense that they weren't able to run with Jordan Love, but that's just a stylistic and the type of
That's
play
the
that
Jordan
Jordan
Love
Love
problem.
has.
Yep.
Yeah, that's not Matt LaFleur's problem. That's a Jordan Love progression problem. And I don't think that this guy has done anything other than win, play well, make the postseason. Obviously, they go and make a big swing for Micah Parsons this year. And when Michael went down, this impacted this team's ability to go win a Super Bowl. And I don't think that I would call Matt LaFleur overrated. And I sure as hell am not going to do it the week before he plays my Bears.
We're gonna clip that up and put that out right and see how that works out. I'm gonna go with you though. I'm selling that. Matt LaFleur is not overrated. Y'all are criticizing this young man, or this not a young man. He's a fairly decent age man at this point.
He's young.
Um,
He's young enough. He's
yeah,
under
young coach.
40.
Okay, yeah, let's
Yeah,
go.
young
Y'all are
coach.
criticizing him because he's taking the second string quarterback and he's able to do things with the second string quarterback that he's not able to do with the first string quarterback. Tell me, how does that make sense, right? So, and then you're talking about a Malik Willis, a guy that fell to the third round, right? Because everybody said processing issues and all these different things. Played for the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans got rid of him because they said he wasn't good enough. But then he gets to the Green Bay Packers under the tutelage of LaFleur, and he's able to play good football. So I'm
Yeah.
selling it. I think Matt LaFleur is a good football coach that understands offensive schemes.
I have a question for you. Why is it that Matt LaFleur gets knocked for something that Kyle Shanahan gets credit for?
Hmm.
Kyle, why when you look at the conversation that surrounds Kyle Shanahan, it's the system and him being able to coach these other quarterbacks, the backups, and being able to have them. Why are Packer fans doubting the system that Matt LaFleur has? I just
So
don't understand.
yeah,
That doesn't make any sense to me.
I can't pinpoint why that's the case, but I also know that the narrative was also a little bit different for LaFleur entering, meaning that Aaron Rodgers was quote unquote he carried that situation, right? And to each his own,
Yeah.
right? Both are great in their own relative situations, but I think that started it off. And it matters, like, when you create those narratives around your name, right? Which, who's supporting who and who is the lead man, like all of those different things matter when it goes into legacy. So that's the only thing I could think of. But ultimately, Packer fans are just being ridiculous at the end of the day. Let's do this. Buy or sell, the Arizona Cardinals should trade Marvin Harrison Jr.
Oh, I'm selling this. Cardinal fans, I don't understand why you guys think that Marvin Harrison Jr. is on the trade block. This team needs a lot of help and it needs a culture change.
Mhm.
This team has a major problem, and it's had a major problem since Bruce Arians stopped coaching here. This is not a Marvin Harrison Jr. problem. This is a ownership top-down problem. I don't think that getting rid of Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to do anything for you guys other than make you less talented than you were before. Doesn't make any sense. So I don't like this, and I don't think that he's on. For whatever reason, Twitter has decided that he's on the trading block. I have yet to hear that from anybody that has real sources.
Yep, I'm gonna go this. Arizona Cardinals. You don't get better by getting worse. Meaning that you don't
Thank
become
you.
a better football team by getting rid of really good football players. And Marvin Harrison Jr. is a really good football player. And I know out there in the valley they question, oh, he might not be that fast, right? Well, you know who else they questioned? That was a wide receiver from Ohio State that they questioned speed? Jackson, Smith, and Jigba, right? When you talk
That
about
part.
pedigree and pipelines, Ohio State is one of those pipelines where you trust the process, right? You trust the process of what's going on. And Marvin Harrison Jr. with Jacoby Brissett being the starting quarterback showed some consistency, and he showed that he has a dominant trait to him, right? So I don't think that everybody got it wrong in the draft stratosphere that Marvin Harrison Jr. is not a good wide receiver. He's a really good wide receiver. Keep him. Like I said, you don't get better by getting worse. It doesn't work like that.
You have a quarterback problem,
Yeah.
Arizona. You don't have a wide receiver problem. You've had a quarterback problem for quite some time. It's time to fix it. That's your problem. So don't get rid of your good players that are surrounding them. Find a better future quarterback because it's been long enough with Kyler Murray here in the Valley.
Yep. All right. Let's wrap this up with this last one. Buy or sell, the Colts made the right decision retaining GM Chris Ballard and head coach Shane Steichen.
Yeah, I'm buying this. They made the right decision to keep these guys because this team came into this year, did not expect them to be anywhere near the team they were. And if Daniel Jones doesn't get injured, this is still a playoff team.
Mhm.
I think they earned the right to come back. They had really good draft picks that played a major role in this team. They swung and they missed because of injury. And I'd never fault teams for doing that. So I liked what I saw from this offense this year. I liked what Shane Steichen was able to do with Daniel Jones. I can't imagine that they're going to would move away from these guys. This was the right move, and I like that they're sticking with it and they're keeping some continuity going into the offseason.
I agree 100%. This is a team that sat at one point 8-1, was atop the AFC, right?
Thank you.
Daniel Jones gets injured, and I believe they lose 8 in a row. If Daniel Jones is there and they just split 500, this is a 12-win football team, right?
Thank you.
They're now competing for being still a top seed in the AFC, and that's going 500. That's winning one and losing one the rest of the way out. So I think they did the right thing by keeping the GM, keeping the head coach, bring back Daniel Jones. I think this trio can move some things forward, and then just continue to fill out certain holes within this roster overall.